off. It's only about 10 or 11 miles, but it felt much more. From here on in, it's about another 5 miles. So the place I said was the only big town the whole way on this direct line between London and Manchester.
Local road to Martina, right flank, extra large Duke, fair off flank, pounder, right, extra large blue cheese, nice right, square cheese.
Northampton Market Square. It's a very surprising place to find in what is otherwise a rather drab South Midland town. Northampton had a fire about 1680. It meant the whole town centre had to be rebuilt, new church, public buildings, and also new Market Square. And the way they rebuilt it makes the place really humming. A few of the old buildings are left. The whole rhythm is still left. Rhythm of very narrow frontages, lots of detail, the buildings coming out fighting. The way everything is packed in, especially on a day like today where the market's in full swing, makes it look more like Belgium than any other town I know in England. And of course it's got troubles. It's going to expand from 120,000 to about 200,000. That means a much bigger town centre, and as part of that, the whole of the north side here is due to be replaced by a monolithic frontage with an office block behind. And the centre of that is the Emporium Arcade, built 1901, and in spite of its size, it has the same quality as the rest of the earlier, smaller buildings around the Market Square. It's full of detail. Things are always happening on the facade. The balconies, gables and chimneys going up at the top. You might call it debased if you're worrying about architectural styles or why people want to, I just don't know. But for all that, it's a good neighbour here. It's a bit difficult to talk about the arcade at the moment because by the time the programme goes out, its fate will probably have been decided. So if this turns out to be an obituary, I'm very sorry. At the moment, there's one hell of a fight going on. There's been petitions, 10,000 people have signed to try and save this, which is quite something in a town of only 120,000, and a town with a sort of fairly phlegmatic reputation. The trouble with it originally was it was meant to go through at the end there, and they couldn't get the building next door, so it became a kind of blind arcade, which is always the worst thing for an arcade to be. Yet, in the last 10 years, it's begun to regenerate itself naturally. And meanwhile, here's the reasons given by the council for demolishing it, as reported in the local paper. First, the success of the new scheme depends on running a service road at roof level through this place. Well, my answer to that is change the scheme. You know, what's more important, the fate of a living bit of Northampton or just one scheme, the details of it? Number two, the hodgepodge of small shops, many of them rather on the seedy side, is an illogical use in a modern town centre. That seems to me to be nonsense. It's exactly what a town centre is about. Number three, the arcade was bought by the council for demolition and not as an investment. But what a confession of failure. You just buy up parts of the town to demolish them and don't alter your opinion, even in the face of regeneration is already happening. And number four, the arcade has no real architectural value. No architectural value with this great cupola here and the balconies and the arches down there. Arches with a perspective effect, because this arcade is on quite a considerable hill. And that, in my experience, which with respect is probably rather larger than that of Northampton councillors, is architecturally unique. If they really do pull this place down, it'll be a diabolical shame.